I want to name this Getting Started, but I would rather name it Things to Do Before You Get Started. There's a couple important things that you might want to do before you even start. Your song, which is in your options menu here. Now, if you've already started making tracks and you're just going through this, then you might have noticed that you have some popping in your tracks when you put too much instruments or too many sounds at once or whatever happens. Your red bar right here will go way up and you'll start to pop. What you want to do is make sure you've installed the AC Overall when you install your Fruity Loops so that you can then go into your audio options over in your options menu, audio settings, and then right under the input go to your AC Overall and select that. I can't right now because I'm recording and it messes it up. Also, in your same menu bar over here, your options, MIDI settings, if you have a controller or anything that you're trying to hook up via inputs, MIDI, USB, whatever. You can rescan MIDI devices and make sure that this is clicked for enable, obviously, and it should work for your devices. I'm not sure if you can tell, but this little orange bar over here, or button, or whatever you want to say, is just noting the activity on my keyboard right now. Alright, and the next thing I like to do is choose my BPM, my tempo. And it depends what you really want to do with this, what kind of music you're making. It could definitely depend on, if you're making dance, 128, dubstep could be 140, some hip hop down in the 90s, 210, I'd say. Anything, really. You can go way up, make some D&B. But that's, kind of restrictions that people like to set on music. I don't really care. But for sake, we'll just keep it at 140 for right now. And then what we should do is insert an instrument. Now there's a couple ways to do this. You can go to your channel, add one, and then add an instrument here. You could have some perhaps in your 3x oscillator, for instance, is in here. There's a couple of different various useful, things up here in your browser. The way I like to do it is to right click on your sampler or your instrument, run down to insert, and then pick one from here. Say a massive. And then boom, you have a massive. And this works well if you want to place certain instruments in certain areas, like, I don't know, say you want to keep your drums on top of everything. Just for an example. And then you want to insert another massive beside your other massive. Just right click on the one below it and it will insert it above it. So for instance, if I want to insert another massive between these two, I click on the bottom one, hit massive. So now we've got a selection of instruments, not necessarily saying we will use this, but who knows? It's a good way to start. Oops. Another way you can insert items, perhaps drums. Let's just use the packs menu because I know everybody has the packs menu. Say I'm not too, interested in using these drums, and I want to make my own kind of drums, and I want to just get rid of this. I like to right click on whatever I want to delete and hit delete. Are you sure about that? Sure. Now we can bring in, say I want, while clicking on them will sound. Right clicking on them will open an option menu where you can either send to a selected channel, open in a new channel, edit, open samplers, whatever. But I like to go through. You can also use your arrow keys on your keyboard. Down, up, right will sound the sound again, so the right arrow key, you can hit down. Yeah. Left one will bring you back up to the top. And then you could also hit, oops, I forget the quick key to that, but I like to drag them into certain areas and keep them separate from my instruments anyway. So we get a snare, kick, a hat, maybe a little shake, and a ride. Now, me personally, I always start with the instruments. And you guys probably don't have Massive or Albino. If you do, good for you. But something that everybody has is FL keys, which I certainly love. So I would insert a FL keys. Let me delete all these. So I would insert an instrument. So you insert an FL keys or anything you want. You know, it could be guitar, it could be whatever you want. You insert instruments. You basically insert drums, kicks, whatever you want. You could insert different effects, or perhaps you already have something recorded that you would like to insert. Then you can place it directly on the timeline and it will become let me just see what I have here, a hat. So you can place it directly on the timeline, say it's just a sound clip, and it will turn into an audio clip, which then you'll notice next time you get into your pattern block will change it into a different color and also have it in a different section. To get back to that, you just click on this little box here and hit all. And everything you drag and drop into this will always end up on the bottom, which I find keeps it pretty organized. And say if you have a bunch of hats or whatever, then your audio clip section will have all those segregated from your unsorted or whatever you had originally. When you click your all, of course they all come back together. And just get rid of these, just right click to delete anything you have on here. So those are the two ways that you can either insert what you want, where you want, onto the playlist, which I'll explain, I guess. Or you could insert them by dragging and dropping them into your actual, why do I keep forgetting, a step sequencer? So you could drag and drop them into your step sequencer, or you could drag and drop them into your playlist. Or if you feel like editing, you could open up your Edison, which is over here. It's just a little slicey scissor waveform button over here. Drag them into your Edison, and then make chops, select what you want, maybe equalize, and then once you have it in whatever you want, say you want the whole thing, you click this little button, drag it to wherever you need it, and now you have a kick.